Hey, welcome to Dan's Model Works. And it is part, I don't know what it is. It's part something or other. The guy that edits this will put it up on the screen what part it is. Of our Dodge heavy wrecker build. And I haven't done squat right here other than shove everything out of the way as we were getting ready for the model show. And if you haven't seen that video somewhere up around here-ish, there should be a link to the video describing that. Most of the work this time around is going to be centered around the cab. And if you've been following along, you'll know that this has the earlier quad headlights. Okay, what it should have is the single headlights with the giant pie plate surround. It's the best way you can describe it. Kind of gives it a little bit more of a younger, more surprised look. Sometimes I like the quad headlights more, sometimes I like the singles more. This certainly looks a lot more sophisticated, but the actual truck that we're modeling had the singles. So I'm going to be scraping those off and putting those on, the singles on. And most importantly, and this is probably what's been eating up the most of my, I wonder how I'm going to do that time, is how are we going to mount the windshield? Now, they give you a template that says this is what size and shape to cut your windshield. And they don't give you a molded polystyrene piece of plastic to go in here. What they give you is just basically a piece of acetate. Now, fortunately, it only seems to curve in one direction. It's not like it's bubbled, okay? So what I'm thinking is I'm going to super glue a very small piece of round styrene, just basically to create a bead all the way around, top and bottom and sides, and then I'm probably going to do a similar one just inside it. So that will create a track that hopefully when we get our acetate properly cut, we can pop it in there and there'll be something physical in there to hold it in place and to the right shape without having to resort to tons and tons of glue. It must be possible because I've seen other people have built these. So that is going to be the biggest technical achievement I'm trying to get out of this particular episode, is getting this windshield set up so that I can pop it in and out as necessary. Painting shouldn't be a big deal. The interior, I don't think it's going to be incredibly challenging. The main thing is going to be, setting it up so it sits in there properly. I suppose if you wanted to, you could super glue your windshield on so that it's basically laying inside, but it seems to me that would result in your windshield being too far inside. It really needs to reside close here to the outside, so we'll see how my plan ends up working. I don't foresee a lot of work happening on our chassis this particular episode. It does need a lot more work. Needs, was about to say battery boxes, but it does not need battery boxes. It probably needs a couple of air tanks and things. But my main concern is going to be getting the cab moving forward. And then the last kind of phase of our project, of course, will be the wrecker body. So that's kind of a roadmap of what's going to be happening here in the future. So it is just about 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning. I've been home from work for, maybe about 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And I'm waiting for Natasha to wake up because we're going to be heading over to my mom's house to work on that horrible rust bucket. The van, not my mom. What the heck are you guys thinking anyway? Anyway, so I figured I could either lay down and pass out, or I could try to do something productive, and I thought I'd try to do something productive. And if you look closely here, and hopefully it will focus, you can see that we now have a white piece of trim going all the way around our windshield opening. And this will give us something that the acetate can push up against. And basically, it's what this is representing is the piece of trim that's on the truck anyway. And I'll be putting another piece that'll be smaller inside. So that way when I put the window in place, it can kind of snip over the little one and come up against the big piece. And hopefully that will hold the acetate in place while the white glue dries. And this is basically 4 pieces of 4th rod. And it was just super glued in place. I only glued my fingers to the model 3, maybe 4 times. It's not too bad. So this is one of these things where you're like, oh, I'm dreading this. Oh, this is going to be a pain. Oh, I'm not looking forward to this. This is not going to go well. And you just kind of sit down and say, oh, let's do it. And 15, 20 minutes later, you've got it in. So I'm going to be putting a little more super glue on there just to make sure it doesn't pop off. But I'm feeling mighty good about this morning. Yes, I'm still working on this despite the special project, which you may have already heard about. And I need to get rid of that lug that's way up in there. And I'm just going to grind it away using the Dremel here. Hopefully I won't make too much of a mess. There we go, 1 or 2 minutes of work, and we've removed the casting lug. Now I've got to put the upper piece of weather stripping in here that's going to hold our windshield in place. So more trying to squeeze some truck work in here between the special project and fixing my deceased father's van and other things. If you look here, hopefully you can see how thick this fender is. And this one's been thinned out quite a bit. Needs a little bit more sanding. Basically did that with the Dremel, but I think that looks a whole lot better. This looks better than that. So I still have to put one more piece of styrene here on the inside of the windshield, and then I'm going to test fit a piece of acetate to see if that will fit in there. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lop off the headlights and replace those with the single pie plate bezels. Oh my god, I'm blind! So that's our quad headlights removed. And the kit does come with the single headlights and the great big pie plate bezels. So I will be putting those on fairly soon. I'm continuing to kind of refine things. You can see once again that I've thinned up the fenders here, and if you compare, this is the fender as it comes from the manufacturer, and this has been thinned down. Not sure how noticeable that's going to be when it's all put together, but I know it's thin. And this isn't to disparage the molding and casting work done by American Industrial Models. These cabs are really, really quite nice. It's just due to limitations in their molding technology, some of the things are a little thick, but you can thin them down. So there's both fender fronts thinned out. Like I said, it's how noticeable it's going to be, I don't know, but I feel a little bit better having thinned them out. So this is the template that they give you. And I thought before I start farting around with actually cutting the acetate, I'm going to see how it fits. So I'm just popping this up from inside. And that's it, hit the camera. It looks like, in terms of overall width, it's going to be close. But it looks like it's too tall. So I think I'm going to use the template, and then I'm going to maybe reduce the height a little bit and just nibble away at it until hopefully I get something that will fit. So in order to cut the acetate out, what I did is I basically used some fun tack to stick the pattern onto the acetate, and then I just used a pair of scissors. Seems to work pretty good with acetate. Now we'll see how close it is. I'm already pretty sure it's too tall this way, but we'll see. Here's the bezels for the single headlights, the giant pie plate surrounds. You can see how much larger they are than the actual headlights themselves. Now they're attached to, it looks like we've got the gear shift here and the steering column, but these are the parts that are for the headlight surrounds. And they're going to require a substantial hole drilled in the front of the fender, which should be kind of interesting. Now you had to drill a substantial hole to get the light to go in. And on the driver's side, it went perfectly, absolutely perfectly. On the passenger side, didn't matter how much I tried to keep the drill bit on target, it was just straying wherever I didn't want it to go. If I wanted to move it this way, it went this way. If I wanted to move it up, it went down. So I've got quite the crater on this side. It's not the end of the world. I should be able to clean it up using filler, sand it up, and it should be fine, but it's a little bit more work than I was planning on doing. Ah, well, best laid plans of mice and men. So, that is our single headlight bezels in place. And you can see I had to do a little bit of filling to make up for the fact that, like I said, this one, the drill went in directly, straight as an arrow. This one, it seemed to wander all over the place, and the more I tried to get it to go where it should go, the worse it got. So, the important thing is it's been converted over to single headlights, and I basically centered them in the space that seems to be where they should be. Now for the windshield, I think I'm going to be cutting another piece of acetate, maybe one that's a little thicker. I'm close on the shape, but I've actually trimmed it a bit too much in some places. And when I looked inside, you could see there's some marks that the larger windshield would have kind of been able to bear on, but it would have been awfully deep. So I think I'm happier with having the actual weather stripping, like the molding in place here. It just might be a little more challenging because now I've got to figure out the size of the windshield myself. So on that note, I think I'm going to wrap up this episode because I want to post this episode before I post a couple of other videos. There's one kind of an update video that I want to get out. And then there's the special project. And of course, that's now completed. And so that one can go up. And I've got it probably half edited. So I want to get this up, seeing as I know it's been a popular project. And a lot of people are probably saying, are you ever going to finish that? So yes, I have been working on it. So on that note, thanks for watching, and until next time, just keep on modeling.